Hello, my name is Daniel Yuck. Thank you for joining today. I appreciate you, your time, and your support. In today's video, I want to share with you how I go about pricing a tattoo. By the end of this video, I hope to give you enough information that you can click away with so that way you can come up with a pricing system on your end to price your tattoos. Should you have any questions at all, I encourage you to drop a comment down below and I will do my best to assist you in the best possible direction. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do also have social medias under the same name as my YouTube. I have Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, all under Daniel Yuck. I would appreciate the support over there as well. With that being said, let's get right on into this video. Before we get into the pricing variables, I feel like it's important to note that this is not by any means the one only correct way or the way that all tattoo artists go about pricing their tattoos. Please note that it will vary from artist to artist. Every artist is going to price their tattoos differently, so just please note that. This video is more so to serve as a guide to kind of help us in a better direction to get some sort of foundation to work off of when coming up with prices for our tattoos. Are you needing or wanting tattoo guidance? What about 4K high quality step-by-step follow-along tattoo sessions? Or maybe one-on-one tattoo support to get answers to your questions that are specifically tailored to your wants and needs as the artist? You can now become a Patreon where you will gain access to high quality 4K exclusive step-by-step follow-along tattoo sessions. I will be tattooing with you in a one-on-one step-by-step manner where I will be explaining what I am doing and why every step of the way. I will also be doing this in a high quality 4K format for your optimal viewing experience. On top of the one-on-one support and on top of the step-by-step tattoo session guidance, you will also gain access to exclusive tattoo stencils that you can download and place on your end to further develop your skill sets. I will leave a link for you in the description or in the pinned comment section below, or you can head on over to patreon.com/Daniel Yuck. When you become a Patreon, you will be getting one-on-one support where you can ask me as many questions as you'd like that are specifically tailored to your wants and needs as the artist. You will gain access to exclusive tattoo stencils that you can download and practice on your end. You'll also gain access to exclusive high quality 4K footage where I walk you through each and every tattoo session in a one-on-one step-by-step manner where I explain all the whats and whys along the way. Become a Patreon today. Thank you for your support in advance. I greatly appreciate it. When it comes to pricing a tattoo, there are multiple variables that I consider, and some of them are listed right here. So some of the main variables that come to mind are the size of the design, the style of the design, the placement and location of the design, the time length that it takes to complete the design, is it a flash or a custom design, color or black and gray also contributes, as well as artist capabilities. Please feel free to screenshot this so that way you can reference this as you start coming up with pricing for your tattoos. I want to talk a little bit more about these variables here. So number one, the size of the design. Most artists will consider the size of the design and take that into consideration when coming up with the final price. Typically it's like this: the larger the design, the higher the price point's going to be. Not always, but typically. I feel like this is a healthy variable to consider for any tattoo artist, because the larger the design, obviously more work is going to have to be done to apply that tattoo, especially if we're doing like full sleeves, bodysuits. You get the idea. The larger the design, the more work it's going to take, which can only be anticipated to cost a little bit more. Another variable that I feel is fair to consider is the style of the design. Some artists specialize in certain designs that will contribute to the final cost of the price. Typically, artists with specialties tend to charge a bit more than an artist with no specialties. Techniques such as lining and shading may also be considered into the final price. So let's say if you go to an artist that specializes in bodysuits, then we can't anticipate to pay top dollar because this artist took time to specialize in that specific niche. Let's say we go to an artist that's kind of working in the shop down the street where there's no specialization, more of a general artist, then we can anticipate whatever would walk through the door would be determining the final price of that tattoo. Some artists may even charge a bit more if the entire design is pure shading. Some artists may charge more if the design is pure lining. Every artist is different, as I've mentioned, but these are a healthy foundation that I would consider to be a good starting point. Number three, placement and location of the design. This one's also very important. Placement and locations could be considered in the final pricing point. Typically, the harder the placement, the higher the price point is going to be. The easier the placement, the lower the price point. You get the idea. Hard placements require more technical expertise, which could contribute to the final price of that tattoo. So let's say if we're going to be getting a tattoo on the front of our neck, which is probably one of the most awkward places to tattoo, then we can anticipate that sort of technical expertise to be applied in the final tattooing cost. Now, I'm not saying either that artists are only going to charge based off of these variables, but these are healthy variables that artists may be considering when charging for a tattoo. So depending on the placement would also determine how much extra a tattoo would be depending on the artist that you go to. Another variable that I would consider when it comes to charging for a tattoo is the time length that it takes to complete the entire design. So oftentimes the time that it takes to complete any given tattoo design would be highly considered into the final price of the tattoo. We can only anticipate that the longer the tattoo session is going to be, the more that we may pay. Some artists even book by the day, where for example you can probably pay like $700 to $1,000 to book out a tattoo artist for the entire day and get a maybe 8 to 12 hour session. Every artist is going to have different time frames and budgets. You get the idea with that though. So the amount of time that it takes to complete a tattoo design will definitely be considered within the final cost of a tattoo, as I feel it should. You know, people go to work on hourly wages and they get paid based on the hours that they put in. It's a very similar thought process with tattooing. How long it takes would be determined in the final cost of the tattoo. Another important variable that I feel is important to consider is the design, a custom design specifically designed for one specific client, or is it a design that's more of a flash design that you drew in passing that a client came to pick out? This right here is super important, and this will definitely impact the final cost of a tattoo. Here's why. Flash tattoos are rarely ever designed for any specific person, and they're rarely ever designed for a specific part of the body. Flash tattoos are essentially a tattoo that someone comes in, looks at a book, likes it, and then they kind of just slap it on anywhere that they would like on their body with little to no thought. Whereas we have a custom design where a client comes in and they may, again, let's say want a full sleeve or a bodysuit. There we have to kind of take a note of curvatures and different areas of the body, so that way we can get designs to wrap around and go with the flow of the client's body specific. For those reasons, I do feel like flash and custom tattoos are like night and day. Flash, again, aren't for anyone specific, where custom designs are tailored for specific individuals. That right there is a very important variable to consider when charging for a tattoo. Another important variable that I've seen fluctuate price points is if the tattoo artist is using color or black and gray. Tattoos that involve color can be priced at a higher price point because the technical expertise required to apply color correctly within a tattoo. Tattoos that are black and gray could be seen as less of a charge depending on the artist because it doesn't involve any colors. Please note that this is definitely going to vary from artist to artist. It's not to say either that black and gray tattoos are easier to apply, it's just different technical expertise is for both. To apply color to skin, we have to use certain techniques. To apply smooth shading to skin, we have to use certain techniques. So therefore, they are again like night and day and completely different. It's also very important to note that color and black and gray tattoos still require a high level of technical precision and expertise to apply correctly. Now, another variable that is to be considered when charging for a tattoo is the artist's capabilities. Every artist has different capabilities depending on the artist that you pick. You may take into consideration the capabilities that they possess. An artist may do that, which is completely fine. As I mentioned earlier, some artists specialize in specific styles while others don't really have any specialties. So if an artist is specializing, let's go back to bodysuits or sleeves here, if they are specializing in sleeves or bodysuits, then their capabilities are maybe that of, or fine-tuned more to those specific styles than an artist that we can go into and find down the street. You kind of get the idea with that. It's not to say that any artist is bad, it's just different capabilities with different artists, which is completely fine. So we can only anticipate that an artist with seasoned specialties is going to charge more than an artist who doesn't have a specialty or an artist that may be learning. So I feel like artist capabilities definitely do impact the final price of any tattoo. Before this video is closed out, I want to talk about some good business practices that we can employ to give clients better experiences and to help solidify our reputation for the longevity of our tattooing career. I feel like these should kind of go without saying, but allow me to talk about them here. So a good business practice would be to itemize everything. It would make a client feel much more safe and comfortable with the tattooing process if they knew exactly what they were paying for each and every step of the way. For example, anything that we can itemize, I feel like we should do so. So for example, if we can itemize needles with a specific price point, we should list that in the final receipt. If we can itemize ink caps, if we can itemize ink that was used by the amount, anything that can be itemized, I highly encourage you to itemize it, so that way when you check out your client and give them their receipt, everything that they paid for is listed on that receipt. This will immediately remove any guessing work or any second guessing on your behalf from the client to you if they can see everything that they paid for and have reasonable price points for what they're paying for. Another good business practice would be to never overcharge. Do not overcharge. Figuring out a healthy pricing system will allow us to charge a good price that will not only benefit us as the tattoo artist, but will benefit our clients, so that way they can go home with tattoos that they want. As a tattoo artist, we always want to avoid overcharging any client that may come to us for a tattoo. I feel like overcharging a client for a tattoo is one of the quickest ways to ruin a reputation, one of the quickest ways to not only have a unstable future in tattooing, but it's also one of the quickest ways to leave a bad taste in a client's mouth, which means that they're more than likely never to come back to you ever again. And if the clients aren't coming back to us, then that means we aren't getting paid for any tattoo sessions that we could have otherwise been paid for. Here's another one that I feel like goes without saying, but I want to talk about it anyways. Always remain professional, honest, and kind. By remaining professional, honest, and kind, we're able to keep attracting clients for the future of our tattooing career. In my professional opinion, when it comes down to an artist being difficult to work with, let's say if an artist has an inflated sense of self-worth, let's say if they have a really big ego, something to this extent, I do feel like these practices may be more discouraging for any clients to come back and continue doing business with them, just because of the negative experiences that could potentially arise from this sort of conductivity. Even if an artist has an elite set of skills, I don't see any sort of egoic or self-inflated conductivity being sustaining. It may end up leaving a bad taste in that client's mouth as well. Therefore, their clients may even end up hating tattoos that they currently have from any elite artist with this sort of negative conductivity. I feel like good business practices will always prevail over negativity. Now, that'll be it for this video. I do hope that you can find this information useful. I do hope that you can click away with information that you could apply to your future tattooing endeavors. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to drop a comment down below. I'm going to do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. If you have anything to add to this video, maybe some variables that I may not have gone over, I encourage you to also drop those down below, so that way we can shed light for others who may be trying to figure out pricing systems for their tattoos. Before you go, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do also have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, all under Daniel Yuck. I would appreciate the support over there as well. Thank you very much for your time and support. You are greatly appreciated. Have a great day. Are you wanting to develop your tattooing skill sets? Now you can practice and develop anytime, any place with an assortment of tattooing workbooks that I've created. With these assorted tattooing workbooks, we can practice our basic lining all the way to advanced lining. We can practice shading, shading placement, dot work, textures, and more. All we are going to need is a tattoo workbook of mine. We can use a pencil, pen. We can even use a tattoo machine with a ballpoint cartridge to develop our tattooing abilities further. That means that we don't need tattoo ink, we don't need napkins or petroleum jelly to get to practicing. Simply open one of my tattooing workbooks and get going. It really is that easy. You can get your hands on one of my developmental tattooing assorted workbooks by simply clicking the links in my description or in the pinned comment section below, or navigating on over to Amazon.com, typing in Daniel Yuck, and you'll see all of the assorted tattoo workbooks that I've created come up. If you have an Amazon account, be sure to follow my Amazon author page as well, as I would greatly appreciate your support. Should you have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section down below. I will do my best to assist you in the best possible direction.